The most important thing about a video is how it sounds, but finding the right audio can be challenging. And that's why I use Epidemic Sound. Their library is massive, diverse, and smart. You can search by mood, genre, and even by your favorite artist. Every single song comes with stems, so that you can isolate the instruments, build tension, and have full control. If you like a specific part about a song, you can search based on that specific part to find similar tracks. And I should probably mention that they have over 200,000 sound effects. That's enough sound effects to make any world that you want and make it sound alive. And all of this is licensed. No copyright strikes, no takedowns, just you creating whatever you want. Epidemic Sound didn't just help my channel grow past 250,000 subscribers, they helped my work stand out. So if you want your videos to be not only watched, but to be felt, start with a sound. Start with Epidemic Sound.
Wait, if you were locked up in Illinois juvie at Cook County, the Audi home, or anywhere else in the system, this is the money glitch that's getting former detainees properly compensated. Illinois juvenile detention staff allegedly failed properly protect youth from abuse, putting your safety at risk. And now a landmark lawsuit is forcing them to give askew to victims of sexual abuse and mistreatment. This isn't just talk. Under Illinois Child Victims Act, over 800 former detainees have already filed lawsuits against state agencies. ABC News, Fox, CBS, and Associated Press are covering this because it's following the exact same pattern as the Catholic Church and Boy Scouts cases, where victims received up to $2.7 million by first filling out a simple qualification form. Here's what most former detainees don't realize. If you've experienced any abuse during detention, sexual assault, physical harm, threats, coercion, or worse, you may qualify for substantial compensation, but only if you act before attorneys submit the final class action lawsuit. After that, you permanently excluded 85% of eligible former detainees will miss this opportunity because they don't think their experience counts or they're waiting too long. It takes just 60 seconds to find out if you qualify. Click this ad now and answer 3 simple questions. Your information remains 100% confidential and there are 0 upfront costs. The attorneys work on a contingency basis. They only get paid if you win. There are absolutely no hidden fees or obligations. You won't pay a single penny unless you receive compensation. You're not committing to anything by checking your eligibility, but you must verify your qualification before the deadline. Don't let Department of Juvenile Services get away with putting your family and property at risk. Click now to see if you qualify for compensation. This page will be removed once the lawsuit moves forward.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gay Men Going Deeper, a podcast series by the Gay Men's Brotherhood, where we talk about all things personal development, mental health, and sexuality. Today, your hosts are the amazing Michael, the magical Matt, and myself, Callan. And we are going to be talking about dating apps today because we know all of you out there have been asking about it. They're like, what do I do? How do I approach this? I don't understand what's happening. How do I, stay sane? So we thought it would be a perfect episode for today. And we're going to be exploring questions like, what's your best practices and rules of thumb for when using dating apps? How can someone find success using dating apps? What's the biggest mistake people make while using a dating app? And then what's the number one thing people don't have displayed in their profile that they should have displayed in their profile? So that's what we're going to dig into today. We'll be continuing the discussions on the last Thursday of every month in the Gay Men's Brotherhood Zoom Hangouts, where you'll have your chance to share your own experience. So if you want to be updated as to when we're going to be having those, make sure you go into the show notes and just sign up for our email list. We send out email reminders of when we do those so that you can get the direct link sent to you on the day of, so you don't need to remember. Also, this podcast and YouTube channel is listener and viewer supported. So if you really enjoy what we're creating here, you can support us by heading over to our Patreon page in the show notes and contributing to help support the show. It helps us to continue making content for you and supporting our community. So we thank you in advance for that. Also, the Gay Men Going Deeper membership doors are officially open. Yes, we know lots of you have been waiting. So if you've been waiting to join in on more group Zooms and going deeper with your personal development, please come and join us in the membership. We have a lot of amazing programming planned for this coming year in 2022. We are so excited about it. So head on over to gaymengoingdeeper.com. It's also in the show notes, and register today so that you can join us in the new year with all the amazing magical stuff. Now, let's jump into today's episode. But first, I want to read a review from one of our listeners. So here is one from Derek V. And Derek V says, I've dated, but honestly never been able to make anything last longer than 6 months. I thought I was weird or broken. This helped. And this was from the episode from Never Been in Love. So if you've not heard that episode, I think it was like maybe 1 or 2 episodes ago. It's Never Been in Love. And it was an amazing episode. Lots of people loved it. So without further ado, let's jump into the dating apps. Oh, God. I have so many things to say about dating apps. I have a love-hate relationship with them. I've been on them. I've been off them. I've been on them again. I've been off them again. I loved them. I hated them. I'm sure everybody out there listening is being like, yes, girl, we hear you. So let's start unpacking this. And I'm going to start off with what's the best practices and rules of thumb when using dating apps. And my number one rule is take it all with a grain of salt. Because so many people put so much effort and energy in like stuff into dating apps. And honestly, the only times I've really ever had true success with dating apps is when it wasn't a forefront thought. It wasn't the first thing. It wasn't the be all end all. It was kind of like something that I had that I engaged with when I was like very much in a space where I wanted to date or meet somebody, but it wasn't like all of my attention was going there. So I made sure that like I had hobbies and I had other things that I was doing, and it was just one of many things that was in my life. Whereas I find a lot of people can get addicted to them because the, you know, all the gamification and all the stuff that goes on there. Plus you're getting that validation, that external validation of like, oh, somebody's matched with me, or somebody sent me a photo, or somebody's talking to me. And so a lot of the stuff we're probably going to unpack today is like kind of separating that from like your self-worth, of like your self-worth isn't coming from these dating apps. You're bringing yourself to them. And if somebody else matches, if that energy matches, then cool beans. But if it doesn't, also cool beans, because that's the universe saying this person is not for you. There's no need to get angry. There's no need to get upset. There's no need to lose your shit and go crazy if somebody blocks you, or somebody doesn't match you, or they matched you and then they unmatched you. It is what it is. Like eventually you will find somebody. So I'm really curious to know about what your guys' best practices are when using dating apps. So today we're going to start off with Matt. How about you jump in?
Okay. I got to start with I'll start with my rule of thumb. Okay. I only have one rule of thumb, and that is I'm on Tinder. That's really the only app that I use. And I'll tell a story of why that is the case. But my rule of thumb is that I want to be giving consent before somebody can have contact with me. I don't like apps where it's an open interface and anybody can message me and anybody can see my profile. Why I like Tinder is because I have to swipe right and the other person has to swipe right, and then that way we're matched, right? So then you're not getting a bunch of random messages from people. The reason why I have that rule of thumb is because I went through several horrible experiences, but I'm going to share the worst of them all. And this happened on Scruff and Grindr, both of them, where I was catfished. I've been catfished several times, and you know, I used to be a lot more naive than I am now. And I used to be like a hopeless romantic and, you know, all this energy of like just being very trusting. And what ended up happening was I got messaged by a guy that was essentially an ideal guy for me. And this person pretended to be somebody for a long period of time. And I ended up finding out that it was a friend of mine, a good friend of mine who I had been hanging out with, and basically this person was extracting information from me and then creating profiles and basically luring me in by catfishing me. And I ended up finding out because I started to like put two and two together. Like the languaging that this person was using was similar in all the profiles that were being created, and then there was the person got sloppy because I was sharing things with this person that were only with him, that he would only know, and then he was using this information in these profiles. And I'm like, wait a minute, like this is so fascinating. So I put two and two together. This went on for a year. So this person was like considered, like we were like very close, and he was catfishing me the whole time. So it was very, very hurtful. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship. It was an 8-year relationship. I was very wounded, and I was healing. I was going through a lot of stuff at this time in my life, and this person just completely took advantage of my vulnerabilities. And so after that, I pretty much, I invited him over to my house, and I confronted him in my living room, and he obviously denied it. And then I asked him if he was being honest with me, would he be willing to show me his Scruff and his Grindr profile so I could see who he was interacting with, and he declined to show me that information. And like he was like swallowing, and his eyes were all like, you could just tell, like I can tell when somebody's lying. It's just very obvious. So, for me, it just, and then after that, it continued to happen. There was just so many catfishing, people trying to get pictures out of me and things like that. So I just created this rule that I'm like, you know what, this is the platforms I want to use. And I find for me, Tinder to be a little bit, less about sex and more people that are looking for kind of like a slow down connection and getting to know each other. So there was a lot of jadedness for sure around that. And now like I consciously choose not to use those. Like it's not so much about that being the primary reason. It's more so just they're not really a good fit for me, those two apps. Hinge is not bad. I don't mind Hinge, and I don't mind Tinder. Those are kind of the two that I will use, because it does require people to be able to be connected before they're able to talk to each other. So yeah.
Nice.
That's my, yeah.
I'm sorry you had that experience, Matt. That really fucking sucks.
Yeah, it was really brutal. And then this guy was like hardcore sociopath. Like there was some major shit that came out after, and he just was highly narcissistic, highly sociopathic in my opinion. It's not a psychiatrist, but I definitely would say that he possessed those personality traits for sure. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. And I agree, like Hinge and Tinder, we're going to unpack this over today's episode, but like Hinge and Tinder, for me, it's like, when you look at all the apps, you need to kind of know what you're getting. Like you're not going to go on Scruff and Grindr and be like, I want a hopeless romantic boyfriend. Like chances are not going to be as high there as if you choose like Hinge or Tinder, where people actually have to put in effort to their profiles. They have to like, let the information be visible and that kind of a thing. So Michael, how about you jump in and talk to us about your best practices or rules of thumbs?
Yeah. Okay. This topic fires me up. I fucking love talking about online dating apps and all this good stuff. Not because I love it, but because I've had so much experience with it. And it's definitely something that I think you can use as a tool in your own personal development, right? And that's one of the things I love about it. Same with sex. I think like we there's so much to learn from these things that trigger us in so many ways. So I guess I'll start off by saying I've been using some form of online dating since the days of gay.com, if anyone remembers that, or Plenty of Fish, which I think Plenty of Fish still exists, but gay.com, like back in the day, that's what I was using to meet people, chat with people. I don't think I actually met anybody on gay.com for a while. But yeah, so similar to you guys, I've been using them for a long time. Grindr, I believe I've been using since they launched in, I think, 2010. I've been a Grindr user since 2010, on and off, mostly on. So I've definitely have more experience with that. I agree with things like Tinder and Hinge. When I was single and looking for like a romantic long-term partner, I found those connections that I met through there were generally more conducive to a long-term relationship. Not to say that I couldn't do that on Grindr as well, but I chose to show up very differently on Grindr than I did on Tinder. So that was on me, right? My pictures on Grindr were not necessarily conducive to long-term. The ones on Hinge and Tinder were. So I'll say, you know, similar to you guys, I've had some really awesome experiences. I've met some of my greatest friends. I met some super close friends through Grindr, through all these apps. I traveled solo for a very long time